All right, Ken Sparks, we debut the 2014 schedule for Carson-Newman's Eagles, and an interesting one. Open up with a name opponent in Edinburgh here on a Thursday night to begin the season. What's it like to once again be under the lights here at Brevard TBA and playing against an opponent with some national recognition to him?
Well, of course, we're just glad to find a ball game. Well, we were digging like crazy to find a ball game, and the worst. You know, it's always been bad for us to find ball games, but this was the worst year ever. And you know, we had a 10th game scheduled, and they joined the conference, which meant the conference had to do their own schedule, and so we lost that game that was already on contract, and it left us reeling. And and so we finally got Edinboro to come to play us, and we're grateful that they are. And they're a good football team, as always. We had a 3-year series with them back in the 90s. And, of course, we were playing in the national championship game some of those years, and they were ahead of us 41-17 one year up there. And we came back and beat them 45-44, one of the great games in the history of Carson-Newman. And so we're glad to be playing at home. Because if we hadn't got that game, we were going to be October the 4th before we had a home ball game, and wouldn't that have been something?
Yeah.
And so we're excited about having a home ball game, not being head-to-head with the University of Tennessee, and so everybody can come Thursday night and watch us play and kick this thing off and get us started off to a great year.
Really an interesting schedule after that. You touched on it, 3 straight weeks on the road to finish off September at Wayne State, then at Brevard and at Catawba. What kind of challenges does the opening month of the season pose for your club?
Well, that's Catawba beat us last year. Wayne State will be angry when we get up there, and Brevard's always good, and you know, and we're going to be a young football team. We're going to be a team that's going to be scrambling to try to be the kind of team that we want to be, and so that's a tough schedule to start with for us. And but anybody would be tough for us this year. So we just got to line up and get better and play.
Home games against Mars Hill, homecoming against North Greenville on October 25th, and then big home games in November against Lenoir-Rhyne and Wingate highlight the schedule here at Brevard TBA. Obviously, you want Eagle fans to be here every Saturday that Carson-Newman's at home, but what games on the home slate stand out to you?
Well, I think you know, Lenoir-Rhyne's beat us twice last year, and that don't happen very often. And they're a good football team. Went to played in the national championship game, and Wingate is going to be tough again, and Newberry was in the playoffs, and North Greenville got some transfers in. They're going to be really good, and so I don't see any easy games this year. I think the conference is really going to be a very balanced conference. I'll be surprised if it's not, and it's going to be every week line up with your best, or go home and go to bed and whine a little bit, because it's going to be a tough schedule. So we're going to have to do it.
First time in 3 years that you've had a mid-season bye. Won't count the one from 2012 where you played Greenville State and then took a week off, or at least in terms of competition. What's it like to get a week of rest in the middle of October?
Well, we'd rather have a ball game, but we couldn't find anybody to play us, and so I think it's good timing for an open week. It's right in the middle of the season, and another negative thing is, though, we'll be playing our second home ball game, and then we got an open date, and but the good thing about that is we got 3 home ball games in the last 5, and so that helps us get caught up a little bit, and it'll be a good challenge for us.
Really, the schedule's just an inverse of last year. You stayed at home pretty much for the entirety of September and early October, but then had to play the role of road warrior for the latter half of the season. Do you take any lessons from that and apply it to this year?
Well, I'm glad we're not road warriors at the end of the year again, so that's good. And it's always more fun to play at home than it is, especially at the end of the year when when you kind of know how things are stacking up and you know what's at stake, and so it's good to go get them.
Ken, thank you as always.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Adam.